One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Wishful's reporting paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Wow, it is a thirsty Thursday morning. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. We've got a full day that we're going to be doing today. Unfortunately, I have to be driving to Nashville right after this show. I have to drive to Nashville. Well, very just south of Nashville. I have to go pick up a new laptop that I found on Facebook Marketplace, of course. And I got to go pick that up because J.R. Bowling, by the way, Alabama's next state senator for District 4, by the way. So his laptop that he's working with is like bunk, dude. I mean, it's like as if he's working with some 1979 technology. I'm being facetious here, but obviously he needs a new computer. So I'm going up there to grab this computer because it was the best price that I could find. You know what I mean? So for what I'm getting. Anyways, aside from that little personal note, we're going to be talking about what we're doing here this morning. And the way that I titled this is U.S.-Iran nuclear talks underway, and that is happening today, by the way. Yes, it is. We also have Hillary Clinton, Epstein depositions, and Cuba latest and more. Now, I'm not sure if I don't have the Hillary Clinton, Epstein depositions yet. And it may even happen later on today. So I may not have it for you today, right now on this show, but at least you guys know it's happening. So let's go ahead and give you a chronological timeline of what we're looking at here. We're looking at FBI raids LAUSD Superintendent Alberto's home and office. We have that for you guys. I'm not really sure what that is like tying up to. I think it has something to do with Epstein files and Larry Summers to reassign as Harvard professor. I'm not really sure that there's like much more than that I actually know, because I haven't figured out that story yet. But nonetheless, we have that for you. And then we have the breaking story that happened yesterday. This is a suspect story, I should say. It says Cuba kills four aboard American speedboat. Now, and then I think there was like 3 or 4 others hurt on top of it. Now they're saying that there was an American speedboat, U.S. flagged speedboat that was approaching them and then shooting at the island and killed. They're saying that we theoretically injured like some sort of high-ranking official or some shit. And I'm sitting there going, why the fuck would anybody on the U.S. side do any of that on a little tiny speedboat? We've got some power, dude. What are we doing with that?
Bruh.
Anyways, I'm not really sure what that whole ordeal is. I'm sure that you guys have also heard about this online, but we've got that story for you. And then we've got Rubio on the Cuban patrol killing 4 on the U.S. boat. And then we have Cuba claims U.S.-based Cubans attempted to infiltrate island by boat. Honestly, bro.
Stop the cap.
Like as if we want to go and infiltrate your little bunk-ass, stupid-ass island.
Bruh.
No one gives a shit about Cuba, bro. We don't fucking want to be there, okay? You want to be here. We do not want to be there. So I'm not really sure how that correlates. And then we have more U.S. jets deployed as Iran signals flexibility in nuclear talks. And then we have Rhode Island shooting. Regarding the Rhode Island shooting at the hockey rink, I believe, the ice rink. We have an update on that. Third victim dies after ice rink rampage. It says here a shooting at a youth hockey game in Rhode Island last week has now resulted in a third death. Authorities said the latest victim was a grandfather whose daughter and grandson were also killed in the accident. Oh my fucking... I hate people, dude. I hate them. I fucking hate them. So frustrating. And then we have U.S.-Iran nuclear talks progress as deadline looms. And that is obviously, as you guys know, the talks are happening today. So, all right, before we get into it, let's go ahead and get into the call to actions, and then we'll get right into these stories here. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are on the vertical side, make sure you guys double tap that screen and hit that subscribe button if you guys are new here. This is what we do Monday through Saturday, actually. Saturday for members only, Monday through Friday for all the world madness and all that shit. And speaking of money, by the way, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as be on these, have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, the campaign trail. Listen, it's a great way to get a hold of me on a personal level. And then we have Discord for all of you legends as well. Make sure you guys go down in the video description down below of any live video that we do. And it has the invite links for all of that. And last but not least, all Super Chat, Super Stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that you guys can donate. It's scrolling around the screen somewhere for you guys. And listen, this is a great way to go ahead and interject and allow me to have 100% of the fucking proceeds. And of course, I'll read out whatever comes our way. I'll read whatever comes through those platforms, just like a super chat. So, all right, guys. Good morning to all you legends. Thank you all for being here. I see a lot of the homies in here. Very much appreciate it. I'm going to be very quick with this because we got a lot to go through. I'm going to try my damnness here. We got Brother Lappy in the building. We got AU as well as Naomi. Thank you guys for being here this morning, by the way. We got Frank, my man, and Jimmy Mack. We got Warlander. Good morning. We got, I'm scrolling down as fast as I possibly can. It's hard to do this shit. We got Steve Easy. We got Dutch Carp Fishing. Nice to see you, by the way. Steve Easy says, Hillary is an amazing woman and is wicked smart.
Stop the cap.
Great to see you guys. We got Pablo. Good morning, good morning. And we're rolling our way down. We got Josh Phillips. Sup, Mike? Had to testify this morning on some shit. Oh, shit. That's fucking crazy. What's up, Josh? And what's up, Ginger? Hopefully you guys are enjoying your morning as well. We got Brother Beezer as well. And as I said that, he motherfucking drops 5 gifted memberships. Let's go, dude. Listen, Beezer, thank you very much for that, kind sir. Not only helping me, but it's helping 5 others in the Breakfast Club, man. So I very much appreciate that. Yes, sir. We got Motobomb Virginia in the building, as well as Sick Bastard, the Coffee Crew, Carney Ride. Thank you guys, all of you guys over there on the Coffee Crew side. You guys all rated me this morning. I'm very honored by that, by the way. Yes, sir. We got Charles Adams in the building as well. Shout out to my man on the Facebook side of things as well. All right, so guys, we're going to go ahead and pretty much get right into this. We have a lot of shit going on. Pablo says, any update on Mountain Woman? I've been gone a couple of days. Yes, Pops has been in and out of the chat. He was here last night on the Diamond Effect. He was in the chat, and he didn't really give us too many updates other than that he was going to go see her and do some like room change or something like that. But aside from that, because I said, when you got the opportunity, please let us know how she's doing, you know. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to answer that. All right, so we're going to get right into this. So FBI raids LAUSD superintendent at his home and office. So let's go and see what's happening here.
That we've been bringing you this hour. Let's take you back out to Los Angeles here as you are taking a live look from our Fox chopper as we brought you a short time ago this news that federal authorities are descending upon multiple Los Angeles locations this morning. As you can see there, executing search warrants at both the primary administrative offices of the nation's second largest school district and the private residence of its top official, Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho. What we do know right now,
Alberto Carvalho.
FBI and Department of Justice both confirming that agents are serving court-authorized warrants at Carvalho's office at LAUSD headquarters.
Wow. I mean, this is kind of a strange thing. Let's see what it says here. Federal authorities descended upon multiple Los Angeles locations Wednesday morning, which is obviously yesterday, executing search warrants at both the primary administrative offices of the nation's second largest school district and the private residence of its top official, Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent.
Quarters in downtown Los Angeles and his home there in San Pedro. So you are taking that live
What's up,
look
Tiffany?
there
Good morning.
the home. Skyfox
TVT,
over that
good
home
morning.
right now where multiple FBI agents are seen going in and out of this residence carrying boxes of unspecified items. At one point...
What's up, my man? We got Job in the building. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your thirsty Thursday morning so far.
Neighbor with luggage in tow was escorted down the sidewalk by authorities. I did want to share with you just some of the coverage from our Fox 11 LA team just moments ago.
We're standing by outside Alberto Carvalho's home.
Let's go to Mario right now. Mario, tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, Roxy and Sandra, we've been watching FBI agents coming in and out of the home here in San Pedro, carrying out, you may have seen it earlier, cardboard boxes.
By the way, we always used to call San Pedro, which I lived in for a very small amount of time when I was a kid. We used to call it either Pedroids or Speedro. Definitely Speedro.
We saw one FBI agent rolling out a suitcase, luggage is what it looked like, another carrying a backpack. So we're not sure what evidence is being collected here from this home, but we can tell you that the warrant was confirmed by federal officials. No affidavit details have been released because they have been sealed by the court, and the FBI said they have no further comment at this time. So photographer Howard Wells.
And thank you for that, brother so loud.
Is taking you just down the sidewalk here as we wait for more activity, and you can see those federal agents. Now, according to sources, the warrant was executed this morning on both this residential address here on South Parker Street in San Pedro.
She almost looks like an NPC. I was like, is that like, she just weirdly, oddly standing there like that? But yeah, whatever.
As well as an office location where Gigi was at just a short time ago, LAUSD headquarters on South Beaudry Avenue downtown. At this point, those locations have been confirmed by federal officials as the sites where warrants...
While the men actually go in and out of the building carrying shit, you know, you just stay outside and just watch.
Have been served, but details about any arrest charges or investigations haven't been confirmed. The FBI telling us they are serving a court-authorized warrant here, but because, again, the affidavit is sealed, they can't discuss any...
Eric on the Facebook side of things, he knows the deal, you know what I mean?
Bruh. Details of the investigation, and I want to break down as we're watching more of these FBI agents coming out of Carvalho's home here in San Pedro. What we know about Carvalho, and we can tell you that he is the current superintendent of LA Unified School District, the second largest public school system in the U.S., serving more than 500,000 students across the county, and he was unanimously selected by the LAUSD Board of Education back in February of 2022, and that followed a national search. Now, we can tell you before coming here to Los Angeles, he
Now, I wonder what actually sparked this whole raid.
led Miami-Dade County Public Schools, one of the largest school systems in America, for 14 years, earning multiple National Education Leadership Awards. And again, we have no confirmed information at this time that he's been charged with any crime.
Yeah, so we don't even know what the fuck he's being charged for yet.
Not received official statements from his office
or if he will be charged at all. I don't know what they found, obviously.
Or the LAUSD board, and we're still looking for comment from the FBI Los Angeles field office, LAUSD, and Carvalho's representatives. So not a lot of information, but again, this is the scene unfolding outside his San Pedro home. So we've counted at least half a dozen FBI agents, again, going in and out of this location here, coming out with stacks of cardboard boxes, as well as bags and what appears to be a luggage or two of evidence. That's the latest here from what we can see on the ground.
And of course, if anything else comes out from this, of course, you guys know that I'm going to share that with you guys. So we follow the stories that we start on or whatever. We try our best to follow them. What's up, Kerry? We got my man in the building. Shout out to you. We got Motobomb Virginia as well. Good morning to you as well. Thank you guys for all being here, man. I'm very lucky to be able to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, members only for Saturday, you know. So make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. Appreciate it. Now we're going to talk about Cuba. Cuba kills 4 aboard American speedboat. Now, this is in chronological order how this was being reported. So we've got this, then we have Rubio that talks about this thing, and then we have Cuba claims U.S.-based Cubans attempted to infiltrate island by boat. Now, honestly, I don't know any Cuban. I mean, this is just me. I don't know any Cuban that wants to go invade Cuba. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. All your people leave your country and try to flee to us. So why would they want to infiltrate your island? And then they said they made a claim that there was actual shots fired from the boat standpoint, the U.S. side, and killed one of their officials. And I'm like, you guys are such cap, bro. I can't stand you guys, you know?
Stop the cap.
Man, all right. So let's go ahead and I mean that I can't stand you guys. I mean that by fucking everybody. I'm just over everybody in their fucking drama, political theater. I can't handle it. It just sucks. I hate people sometimes.
Take a look at this. This is from Cuba's Ministry of the Interior saying, quote, on the morning of February 25th, 2026, a violating speedboat was detected within Cuban territorial waters. The vessel, registered in Florida, United States, approached up to 1 nautical mile northeast of the El Pino Channel in Cayo Falcones. This is in the Villa Clara province, when a surface unit of the Border Guard troops of the Ministry of the Interior carrying
now that part I could believe, Beezer. That part I could believe.
5 service members approached the vessel.
Or maybe even grabbing some drugs or some shit. They're in a speedboat. You know, maybe they're grabbing some of their homies' shit. You know what I mean? I'll bring it back to the U.S. Or vice versa, bringing from the U.S. drugs to Cuba. Maybe that was happening. I don't know.
For identification, the crew of the violating speedboat opened fire on the Cuban personnel, resulting in the injury of the commander of the Cuban vessel. As a consequence of the confrontation, as of the time of this report, 4 aggressors on the foreign vessel were killed.
Real quick, Steve, so, you know, I didn't fuck around too much with Ralph's, by the way. You know, in the aspect, if you're talking about the grocery store Ralph's, that's, I don't know what, it may be some sort of like small little Ralph's spot. I just never heard of it. But nonetheless, like what we always went to is like King Taco and shit like that. That like typical hood shit, you know? But it was bomb as fuck. But yeah, King Taco was great.
And 6 were injured. The injured individuals were evacuated and received medical assistance. And we are continuing to share with you some of the responses.
Man, that is the biggest L you could say, Naomi. She
just heard from Representative Espaillat. But take a look at this. This is another representative right here saying the dictatorship in Cuba has just attacked a boat from Florida and murdered those on board. This
What's up, SST? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. To all of you guys, by the way. And thank you guys for hitting that like button and double tapping that screen.
Must be relegated to the dustbin of history. So we did want to share with you some breaking news after Cuba says that 4 were killed after a speedboat from Florida entered Cuban waters. We're also keeping a very close eye on all of the Trump administration's social media posts, the president himself and cabinet members to respond.
I know what you're talking about in a certain sense, but I didn't know that about them. But yes, sir. That's awesome, man. Next time I go back, I'll definitely have to stop and see. I'll give you the answer.
To this breaking news, but we did want to share with you, and I'm going to put
What's up, Mississippi?
That statement from the Cuban embassy from the United States with more of that information, as they have reported that a violating speedboat was detected within Cuban territorial waters. That vessel registered in Florida, United States. They were saying that...
What's up, Carney? Good morning, and thank you for the raid as well this morning with the coffee crew.
When a surface unit of the border guard troops of the Ministry of the Interior carrying 5 service members approached the vessel for identification, the crew of the violating speedboat opened fire on the Cuban personnel, resulting in the injury of the commander of the Cuban vessel as a consequence of the confrontation. As of the time of this report, 4 aggressors on the foreign vessel were killed and 6 were injured. The injured individuals were evacuated and received medical assistance. So that specific statement is from the Ministry of the Interior via the Cuban embassy in the United States. Any additional information, any other reaction, we will bring it to you right here on Live Now from Fox. We'll be right back.
And, of course, we've got the updates in chronological order here. Of course, that's what we do. We got Rubio on this, by the way, now.
We were made aware by Cuban authorities of an incident off the coast of Cuba.
That's their side buffering and shit. It's not ours. But let me go ahead and bring up the volume on this.
They began to look into it. As it stands now, the Department of Homeland Security, the Coast Guard, others are involved. The majority of the information we still possess is what Cuban authorities are providing, both the public and the U.S. government. We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak, asking for access to the people that were on those vessels, if they were American citizens or permanent residents. According to the Cuban regime, the boat was registered in Florida. We're tracking that down.
And I did hear that originally in the original reports from yesterday that it was registered in Florida, which totally make fucking sense, of course.
Shortly, and we will know quickly, many more facts about this incident than we know right now. The majority of the facts...
Yeah, no kidding on that, Cameron, by the way, because I haven't actually seen that footage, you know. I'd like to be able to see some sort of footage or something, but I don't even know it's happened because I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? They're just claiming this back and forth. But yeah, you know how it goes. All right, back to this. And by the way, their shit is fucking up. They're like having internet issues or something over there. Look at that.
Cubans. We will verify that independently, and we'll, as we gather more information, then we'll be prepared to respond accordingly. I'm not going to speculate. Because I'm not going to opine on what I do.
Oh my God! Can you guys fucking get it together with your bullshit? Oh my God! I can't do it.
Well, the authorities in Cuba, the border guard has constant contact with the Coast Guard, so they alerted them this morning. I was made aware of it at that time. Oftentimes in these incidents and things like this, the initial reports are incomplete. And then as the day has progressed, I think early this morning, certainly by...
What's up, Joseph? My man up there in Canada, our favorite snow Mexican. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning and your thirsty Thursday morning.
9 a.m. or 10 a.m. this time, maybe a little later our time here. I reached out and we began to look at it independently. We have various different elements of the U.S. government that are trying to verify elements of the story. Based on what's been provided to us now. I know that the Coast Guard has responded to the area, to the vicinity.
Honestly, I really don't like the landscape of... So Loud asked, you know, they were talking about... There's another stream that was talking about the next president. What's your thoughts on that? We need a guy that is America-only ideology. That's what we need. And I don't see anyone that's ready for that shit. So I'm not super like holding my breath kind of situation. But at the same token, a lot can still happen in the next couple of years to spark people to come up and become what we all kind of originally thought Trump was going to be, kind of. But bring it way more home. I mean, focus on here and not the rest of the world kind of thing.
I'll need to get more fidelity and understanding from them once I get on the airplane about what exactly they're looking for. I don't know who has possession of the vessel, which is the first thing we'd want to have.
Vance absolutely does not have it, by the way. He is not. There's like type A personalities that it takes to be president. You have to be able to execute, handle these situations, and do it with grace. I don't see Vance on the same personality level that a president needs. He's got like kind of like a type B personality, which is great for his position, by the way. Play your position. Not everybody has to be the fucking president. Being a vice president of the United States, dude, that's way higher than I'll ever fucking be. And everybody else here probably, you know? But I'm just saying, Vance does not have it.
We obviously want to have access to these people if they are American citizens or U.S. residents. But I'm not going to speculate now because right now, still, a lot of the information that's out there is information that's been provided by the Cubans. We are going to verify that information independently and reach our own conclusions.
So this was not U.S. government personnel? There was no U.S. government operation happening?
No.
Have you spoken to any Cuban officials?
We're only going to allow a couple questions here, and then we're basically moving on right away. You know, we're not sticking on this for too long at all.
No, we haven't spoken directly about this now. No, I'm not going to comment about any conversations we've had on this topic. Suffice it to say, what it's important to be out there and everyone needs to know is that we're going to have our own information on this, and we're going to figure out exactly what happened. And there are a number of things that could have happened here. But I'm not even going to speculate as to what it could have been. It's a wide range of things. But suffice it to say, it is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that. It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time. But we're going to find out.
By the way, 5150, Rubio doesn't have it either. He doesn't have it either.
Yeah, we're not going to base our conclusions on what they've told us. And I'm very, very confident that we will know the full story of what happened here, and we will know it soon. And then, you know, we'll respond appropriately based on what that information
Okay, so they're just waiting on information so they can respond. Cool. That's what I was waiting for right there. All right, so now we have the last story regarding this whole Cuba thing to wrap this all up. Cuba claims U.S.-based Cubans attempted to infiltrate island by boat.
Stop the cap.
You ain't got to lie to kick it. You know what I mean?
Bruh.
Now, I would totally believe it if they were going back and forth to like maybe deliver some weapons from the United States, maybe some fucking cocaine, you know what I mean? I'm just saying there could have been some shit like that, but I really don't believe that no Cuban, U.S. Cuban, wants to go infiltrate Cuba. They try to fucking flee and get out of Cuba. What's happening here? We got Brother Lee in the chat. Good morning, good morning. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning, my man. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up. And before we do, though, we haven't gotten the money part over. Let's go ahead and do that. You know,
all right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Facts, though. Those are actual factuals.
Denied.
But it's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and share this screen with you guys, and we'll get right into this. Here we go.
Okay, we're getting some
This is a very, very quick update, by the way.
Details on that strike of a Florida licensed boat near Cuba earlier today. The Associated Press with this. Cuba says the boat that opened fire was carrying Cubans living in the U.S. trying to infiltrate the island and unleash terrorism. These new details coming in from the Associated Press just moments ago. The announcement came hours after Cuba said that its soldiers killed 4 people and wounded 6 others aboard a Florida-registered speedboat that had entered Cuban waters and opened fire on the soldiers first, injuring 1 Cuban officer. Cuba's government said that the majority of the people on the boat, quote,
Man, what's up, Pops? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. Make sure you give Mountain Woman our love and respect And we're thinking of her, and, always in our prayers,
Have a known
Good
history
morning.
of criminal and violent activity, unquote. So this story continuing to really raise more questions as the night goes on.
Oh, yeah, no, the way that it's being reported, something else. If it's actually true, what's being reported, what we just heard, it seems justified as well. I just think that this is bunk-ass reporting.
The Cuban government said that it had arrested a man, adding that he was, quote, sent from the United States to guarantee the reception of the armed infiltration who at this time has confessed to his actions. The Associated Press was not...
Jimmy Mack, I think Cuba is a sovereign nation, isn't it? So if it's a sovereign nation, yes, it's in international waters, but then when you get like a mile or two, whatever, off the coast, that would be considered inland waters, which is their waters.
Immediately able to independently verify that information, nor have we, here at Live Now. Cuba's government said that it obtained the details about the passengers aboard the boat from the suspects detained following the shootout. It identified 7 of the 10 passengers, according to the Associated Press.
Shit, real quick. By the way, we got my man, brother Lee Lance, coming in on the Cash App, sending in a dollar dues. That's what we call, man. He sends $1 and says the one. Absolutely. Thank you for making it rain in the Cash App, my man. Dues paid. Very much appreciate that.
3 of those people have not yet been identified, and this is a story that we're going to have to continue to track as the night goes on. I'll also be looking for word from President Trump on this, in light of this news out of Cuba, saying that the boat that opened fire was carrying Cubans living in the U.S., trying to infiltrate the island and unleash terrorism. That's how Cuba is putting this tonight. We'll keep you posted. Anything more that we hear.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that we lack information on these kind of things. So when we lack information, this is how conspiracies happen and all of that, because that's anytime there's a lack of information, that's what happens.
Cuban embassy in the United States, by the way, said earlier today that on the morning of February 25th, violating speedboat was detected within Cuban territorial waters.
Good morning, Stephanie.
The vessel, registered in Florida, in the United States, it had
that's what I'm hoping for, Cameron. I'm hoping that we get that kind of footage, and of course, if it does come out, I'm gonna be presenting that to you guys anytime that we break stories or talk about anything. I try my damnedest to follow up on these things. You know what I mean? And we got Seymour Cannabis in the chat. My man, good morning. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
Mile northeast of a local channel in a municipality of Cuba. So this story really getting more complicated.
Getting more complicated with no information. Sounds good. So when we get more information, we'll talk about it. Anyways, now we're going to move on into more U.S. jets deployed as Iran signals flexibility in nuclear talks. So let's go ahead and bring that up as well. And also, one thing that we haven't done yet here as well is, listen, Iran, just embrace your fuck-ups. You know what I mean?
Beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. Absolutely true. Shit.
I want to start with a live image that we do have coming out of Geneva, Switzerland. As you all know, those talks between U.S. and Iranian officials are continuing today.
Correct. This is happening today. We have, this is their third meeting on this whole thing since Operation Midnight Hammer. So this is what's happening here.
With help from mediation from Oman. Now, the U.S. Special Middle East Envoy Steve Witkoff meeting with the Iranian foreign minister in an effort to convince his country to halt its enrichment of uranium. A key step.
Brother, so loud. Because you actually have a membership right now, you can continue your membership if you'd like. You can go down if you're on iPhone. I don't think you can really do it like that. You can't join and do that from iPhone. You have to do it from a computer. So then you would hit the membership button by the $. You would hit the $sign by the chat, and then you can continue your gifted membership. So yeah.
To building a nuclear bomb and curtail or stop its production of long-range missiles. The Associated Press is covering this extensively. They also say that Oman has officially presented Iran's proposals to the U.S. special envoys, which do include Steve Witkoff and also Jared Kushner. The ministry published a photo of the Omani foreign minister with Witkoff and Kushner, signaling indirect talks were underway. The foreign ministry said that those officials went over the U.S. inquiries and requests regarding Iran's nuclear program and the necessary guarantees to achieve a deal. Said the talks were continuing in a constructive way. So again, this is the live image that we have outside of the residence of the Omani mediator there in Geneva. Heavy police presence, and similar to what we've seen throughout the last several weeks, as this is the third round of talks. You also may remember that just a couple of nights ago, President Trump did deliver his State of the Union address to the American public and also to members of Congress. In it, he did touch briefly on the situation with Iran.
And by the way, the Clinton deposition just came out. I was thinking that it would come out by the time that after the show ended, because we're only on the live stream for an hour per day. And I was hoping that I would get that information. Well, I'm just letting you guys know I fucking got the information. So we'll be playing that at the end.
Play out some of those comments for you next.
I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
Okay, so then they don't need to do anything in the regards to nuclear, right? Because we set them back and destroyed it all? Yeah, about that.
For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon.
And as you heard there, that was President Trump discussing the fact that the U.S. is not willing to allow Iran to have that nuclear weapon. Again, those talks and that discussion happening at the State of the Union address Tuesday night. I want to bring us back out to this. It's the live image that we continue to have over in Geneva, Switzerland. A little bit of movement at this time, but it's unclear.
Oh, okay. So I never actually gave you guys the answer to that poll, by the way. So this is a little sidebar. Yesterday, during the morning stream, because I did have two shows yesterday, because I have the Diamond Effect in the evenings on Wednesday. But nonetheless, so theoretically, the answer is yes, I do know how to tie a tie, but I suck at doing it. Like, I never get it, like, the knot nice and clean and straight, and like, so I always have to get somebody else around me that knows how to fucking do it. Now, I could do it, but I really get fucking frustrated. It doesn't ever look right. So, do I theoretically know how to do it? Yes. But am I good at doing it? Absolutely fucking not.
Going to be able to see any of the delegates walking in or out of this residence. We haven't before, but we'll keep this image up on your screen and keep dipping in and out of it just to see what we can watch as those talks are underway. As we continue to follow everything having to do with the U.S. and Iran, I want to bring into the conversation now Jonathan Sayeh. He is the Iran Program Research Analyst at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Jonathan, good morning.
Hi, great to be with you.
Of course, good to have you here. All right, so this is the third round of talks between officials with the U.S. and Iran. For the purpose of just having this go forward in negotiations for this nuclear program, Jonathan, if you had to just say what is the ultimate priority, one goal for Tehran at this moment, what would it be? And how is that priority shaped based off of political pressures in Iran?
So normally I would say their priority is to secure a deal that benefits them. Ideally, they would go back to something like the 2015 JCPOA, that they maintain their ability to enrich uranium. They did not negotiate over ballistic missiles, and they got sanctions relief for it. But I don't know if they see this as a possibility or a possible priority at this point anymore. So realistically, now what they're trying to do is just to stall, deter a potential attack. Of course, we've seen different incentives provided by them, although they have not really scaled back their rhetoric on enrichment capacity. Now they're trying to provide more concessions, such as providing financial incentives for the United States. But of course, Washington has stood on its firm red line about, of course, no enrichment. And we yet to actually find out if Washington is actually pursuing or trying to put ballistic missiles on the negotiation table as well or not.
How unified is Iranian leadership heading into these talks?
You guys are great with... Listen, you guys, I'm going to ask you all to name your own military operation. You guys drop it down. We got Mississippi sending out Operation Dragon Dick. Let's see. We got Steve Easy saying, I'm waiting for Operation Ding Dong Wiggle. TVT is correct. The military always has the best operation names. That's true. And usually a lot of it ties to religious stuff.
You know, there's two ways of looking at it. On one hand, you talk about the Islamic Republic, of course, comes down to the supreme leader himself. Being the theocracy and being a totalitarian regime that it is, nothing gets approved without the supreme leader's, of course, approval. But that said, you're still talking about parallel institutions. Looking at the regime as a monolith is, to an extent, accurate, but that said, there are different moving parts within the regime. You have the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps that has not been really greenlighting negotiations. On the other hand, you have the quote-unquote reformist facade. That is, of course, the regime's propaganda arm. Every time they want to reach out to the West, they usually try to elevate this camp within the Islamic Republic. So ultimately, what we're seeing is, of course, what they think would benefit them the most, which is, of course, deterring an attack and trying to maintain enrichment capacity. So no matter what side of the aisle you look at within the Islamic Republic or any politician, the messaging is consistent. They all find the United States to be the major adversary. They do not want to have nuclear disarmament, and they want to maintain their ballistic missiles because they all want the regime to survive.
I want to turn now to Iranian citizens as a whole. Now, they're dealing with, an inflation crisis, economic strain.
And then, of course, the military action against their own people, tens of thousands of arrests.
What would a successful deal realistically change in the day-to-day lives of Iranians, and how soon would they be able to feel that change?
It's debatable whether it would impact their lives at all, because we have to remember when there was a deal in place back in 2015, of course, Iran quote-unquote got sanctions relief, but we have to keep in mind all key sectors of society are controlled by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps or affiliated kleptocrats. So an ordinary Iranian on the ground is not going to benefit from any of this.
Funny ones, Warland, that you make up, Make up your own operation name,
Less regime officials want to artificially inject the market with currency just to create an image that the economy is improving. So when it comes to day-to-day, of course, the average Iranian does not benefit because, again, the Islamic Republic is not there to represent Iranian national interests. They're there to defend Islamist interests. That has been established. That's what they claim to do. But more importantly, you're talking about a population that is still grieving. We see protests erupting in the form of funerals. Student protesters continue to take to the streets. So the idea that somehow this population is going to be appeased or satisfied with a potential deal that's not even going to financially benefit them is not accurate anymore. You're talking about people that want this regime gone. They see no way out but through, and the sheer
what I'm saying?
Scale of mass killing told the average Iranian that the regime is not there to defend their rights.
And Jonathan, we're going to talk about that 2015 nuclear agreement in just a moment. But
listen, J-Rock's the homie, all right? I don't care what anybody says.
Before we go on.
All right, so let's see if there's any breaking news in this, meaning like big tweets or something like that. There is something here. It says Trey Yingst over there. I think he's in Tel Aviv. It says more U.S. jets deployed to the Middle East as Iranian officials signal flexibility in nuclear talks in Switzerland. Let's see if there's any other thing here. This is the map, of course, our current military involvement over there in the Middle East. Now, I've explained this a few times, but just in case you guys have missed it, down here, we've got this huge armada that we have sent, warships and different aircraft carriers, stuff like that. Anyways, this is set up to go at Iran if need be, right? Well, our military operation, our military bases and stuff like that are in these regions, our partners in the region, stuff like that, they could say, no, you don't have the go to go ahead and attack Iran yet. And if that's the case, such as Saudi Arabia, the Persian Gulf the Gulf states, all of that kind of stuff, like Qatar, all of those have a influence. And if they say, no, you cannot attack, well, now we have to go up north, up here in the north west of the region. We have our European, basically from our European side of the military bases, we would fly in our shit and they would fly and meet right here, get onto these ships here, and then they would attack from here to go to Iran. So they're set up for like whichever way happens. This way just sucks a little more because in any military operation with flights, the biggest number one problem is fuel. And so this is a long route over, but they will be able to do it.
Disheartened to see Washington engaging this regime diplomatically after President Trump said that protesters should expand. But that said, momentum still exists on the ground. And I think all eyes are on Washington now. It really comes down to how this military action is going to signal to the average Iranian. Because Washington doesn't have an appetite for boots on the ground, it comes down to effective sequencing for the average Iranian so they know when they have to be where. Should there be a military campaign, we want to ensure that it doesn't deter unrest and it actually provokes further civic movements throughout the country to ensure that Iranians can define their own destiny.
I just want to put this up.
All right, so now let's see if there's any other tweet here. If not, we're going to move on. We know that these talks are happening today, and I think obviously I'm going to have more information, not today on that, probably tomorrow, but at least you guys know it's all happening. We reported on it. Now, we do have an update. Like I've told you guys a couple times on this live stream, but this is what we do every single day, is we follow stories. So one thing that is interesting, we have an interesting development regarding Rhode Island and the shooting that happened over there at a ice rink. So let's go ahead and bring this up. It says third victim dies after ice rink rampage. Terrible, man. Just absolutely terrible. Here we go.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox.
Very quick update. It's only a 2-minute update.
8:16 on the East Coast and 5:16 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and we are following some breaking news involving a deadly shooting that happened at an ice rink. Now, of course, we do have this post coming in from the New York Post, as we've learned that shooting during a youth hockey game in Rhode Island last week has sadly claimed a third victim, and that's a grandfather whose daughter and grandson were also killed in the attack. Now, Gerald Dorgan, who had been in critical condition, has died from his injuries, and that information coming in overnight from Pawtucket police. The mayor said that he was heartbroken that another person has died because of the shooting. And what I want to do is pop up that statement that he released, again, coming in overnight here. He said, our thoughts and prayers remain with the victim's family, friends, and all those impacted by this tragic act of violence. We also have video from outside of the scene here, as it was very active last week. Police working to piece everything together and figure out exactly what happened.
One of my all-time favorite shows, TVT, is Trailer Park Boys.
Dorgan's daughter, Rhonda Dorgan, and grandson, Aiden Dorgan, were also killed in the shooting, and police identified the shooter as Robert Dorgan, who died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Dorgan also went by the names Roberta Esposito and Roberta Dorgano. Robert Dorgan's ex-wife was Rhonda Dorgan, and adult son was Aiden Dorgan. Now, police, despite the fact that it has been more than a week and the suspect...
So if you guys didn't catch that, they're just naming names kind of and kind of blowing it over. So let me go ahead and read this real quick, and I'll give you a little bit more of context of who these people are. It says, a shooting at a youth hockey game in Rhode Island last week has now resulted in a third death. Authorities said the latest victim was a grandfather whose daughter and grandson were also killed in the fucking incident. God damn, dude. That's fucking terrible.
Is deceased. There is still an active investigation, according to authorities, as officials have said the shooter there was specifically targeting family friends. Rhonda Dorgan's mom and a family friend were wounded in that attack, and we have not received an update just yet on their overall conditions. Law enforcement crediting several people who intervened and quickly stopped the attack. We actually spoke with one of those bystanders just a few days.
And that's true. It was a trans killing. A lot of the things recently have been related to trans stuff, which is odd. I mean, it definitely needs to be studied. We got Dean in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning, my man, over there on the West Coast.
Ago, who broke down everything that happened there. At least 3 bystanders were able to contain the shooter in the middle of the stands as the crowd fled and ran around them. Again, that suspect.
Dude, that's a W right there. Carney Vanguard came up with my favorite operation: send me Cash App or PayPal. Or both, motherfuckers.
Then, according to police, taking his own life. Again, if you are just joining us, we are learning some new information about that deadly shooting at the youth hockey game in Rhode Island after a 3rd victim died, and that was Gerald Dorgan, who had been in critical condition, according to Pawtucket police. As we get additional details, including the latest on the other 2 victims who remain hospitalized, we will bring that to you right here on Live Now from Fox.
Operation Money Me sounds good too. I like that one too. That's good. All right. Okay, so now we're going to go into the update for today. Just an hour ago, U.S.-Iran nuclear talks progress as deadline looms. Now, I'm not sure if we're actually going to get anything out of this, so we're going to kind of skip around and see if we actually get any facts off of this. Anytime that there's something going on like this, before it happens, you get a lot of people that are speculating on what's going to happen, what's going to be discussed. Now, there is some context that you can get out of it on certain things, on facts. You know, I don't care about speculation. I don't give a shit about any of it. What I care about is facts. So let's see if we can get any of it.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 8:34 on the East Coast, 5:34 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I'll be here on this Thursday for the next several hours as we break down all of your top stories and live events from across the country and across the world. Right now, on the right-hand side of your screen, you are taking a live look over in Geneva, Switzerland, as we continue to cover.
Wow, real quick, I did not see that, Steve. I'm very surprised that I did not see that. I'm going to have to look into that.
For everything related to the talks taking place between the U.S. and Iran, as we've now learned that a break has been called amid those indirect talks. All of this, of course, over Iran's nuclear program. Now, those talks in Geneva today have Oman serving as a mediator between the two. And I want to pop up this statement from Oman's foreign minister coming out a short time ago saying, quote, "We've been exchanging creative and positive ideas in Geneva today, and now both U.S. and Iranian negotiators have adjourned for a break. We'll resume later today. We hope to make more progress," end quote. The negotiations come as the Pentagon builds up its largest force of American warships and aircraft in the Middle East in decades, and that includes 2 aircraft carrier strike groups. President Trump has continuously warned of potential military action against Iran if talks over that nuclear program fall apart. We also have this post from Trey Yingst over at Fox News. You can see this right here on your screen, as he said,
which we already reported this.
More U.S. jets deployed to the Middle East as Iranian officials signal flexibility in nuclear talks in Switzerland. Again, another live look right here over Geneva, Switzerland, as those talks are currently on a break, but are expected to resume. I do want to bring in Jason M. Brodsky, Policy Director of United Against Nuclear Iran.
Yeah, it's not Barb from, especially from Randy. Burb. Come on, Burb.
To talk much more about all of this and what's expected to happen, how it's all going to play out. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
It's great to be with you. Thank you.
Of course. And first off, I want to kind of talk to you about this break situation. What do you make of the fact that they are taking a break during these indirect talks? Not sure quite how long the first part of them lasted, but we're talking about the 3rd round of indirect talks. So what do you make of all of that?
Now, this is going to be extremely biased. This guy's from United Against Nuclear Iran. Okay, this motherfucker. Let's go ahead and hear the first little context of what he's got. If it's not anything we need to hear, then we're just going to move on.
I wouldn't read too much into that.
I got a question for this guy.
Why are you gay?
I caught on real quick.
I think it just is pretty much a standard flow of the negotiations. I would
Man, that's rough.
You are gay.
Say that in these negotiations, the maximum the Iranian regime is prepared to give continues not to meet the minimum the United States is prepared to accept. And I think that there is still a higher likelihood of military action than any kind of breakthrough diplomatically here.
I also wanted to pop up this statement. We read it here in just a few moments ago, but this is coming in from Oman's foreign minister. Popping it up on your...
Be good out there, Brother Beezer. And thank you again for the 5 gifted, man. That definitely goes a long way, bro. So thank you for that.
Screen here, but he says, quote, "We've been exchanging creative and positive ideas in Geneva today, and now both U.S. and Iranian negotiators had adjourned for a break. We'll resume later today. We hope to make more progress." Now, the part, of course, that stands out is we've been exchanging creative and positive ideas in Geneva. Does that indicate that things are going well, or is that just kind of a basic statement that you'd expect?
Again, I wouldn't read too much into these kinds of positive readouts from the Omani foreign minister. The Omanis have an interest in making it seem like this process is worth the effort. I don't think that it is not possible to have a deal where the mediator wants a deal more than the two parties themselves. And so...
you know what's hard about someone that's got an inflection like that, you know, the gay inflection? It's hard to keep up with them. When they're talking, it's like, it's so distracting being that high-pitched and doing that I can't even follow what the fuck you're saying. It's hard.
I think the Omanis want to put a positive spin on the talks, despite the fact that there are very
Papa
significant
Penguin? Good
gaps
morning.
between both sides in this negotiation.
When we talk about what happens next, we
What's
know
up, Jack?
that
Good morning.
President Trump has been very direct about what could happen here if Iran doesn't agree to a deal. Now, last week, 1 week ago today, actually, he gave them 10 to 15 days to agree to any kind of nuclear deal, or there would be some punishment, some consequences take place. There's also been discussion about a limited strike or a larger operation in general. Do we know what the difference is, what a limited strike would really look like?
A limited.
Well,
yeah, coming in, doing kinetic strikes real quick, boom, and then it would be over. I mean, yeah, it could happen, but we're ready to go full out, like nuclear. I mean, we can wipe them off the face of the planet right now. We've got so much military movements happening over there, ready to go. We have the biggest presence in the whole region since 2003 when we invaded Iraq.
Well, I think a limited strike would be strikes on discrete military targets in Iran without a broader regime collapse goal here. A larger operation would be a strike that's aimed to precipitate the collapse of the Iranian regime. And there are many targets to choose from in the Islamic Republic, and a larger strike could have a variety of such targets, such as leadership decapitations, taking out command and control facilities, Iranian government.
Very much appreciate you, brother, asking us.
Facilities and Iranian government targets. So, limited strikes are, meant to be carefully calibrated to send a message while avoiding.
Okay, so really, we're kind of just digging into what we think might happen. Like, it's all speculation. So, anyways, enough of that guy. We're going to go ahead and finish off our show with this. We have the Clinton deposition. Video will be made public, Comer says. All right, let's go and bring that up and see what Comer has to say.
Made by a Democrat member, Summer Lee, to subpoena the certain documents. Then the motion was amended by Scott Perry to include subpoenas for various names. I think there were 8 names originally, including Bill and Hillary Clinton. Everyone that was included in that subpoena has already either been interviewed by the Oversight Committee or sent in a statement that they had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of the investigation, except the Clintons. We worked for 6 months to get the Clintons to come in, and then they acted like they were going to come in, and then they didn't show up. And obviously, we moved to hold the Clintons in contempt. And I think one thing that surprised the Clintons, they assumed the Democrats on the committee would vote in a partisan manner and not vote to hold the Clintons in contempt. And what they learned was a majority of the Democrats on the committee either voted to hold the Clintons in contempt or voted present. And I think that's a statement that this investigation is serious. It is a bipartisan investigation. The American people have a lot of questions. To my knowledge, The Clintons haven't answered very many, if any, questions about their knowledge or involvement with Epstein and Maxwell. Again, no one's accusing at this moment the Clintons of any wrongdoing. They're going to have due process, but we have a lot of questions, and the purpose of the whole investigation is to try to understand many things about Epstein. How did he accumulate so much wealth? How was he able to surround himself with some of the most powerful men in the world? Was he an asset for our government or any other government? These are the questions that we're going to ask over the next 2 days, and hopefully we'll be able to get some answers. And as always, we're going to release the transcripts. We're going to release the video as soon as everyone has approved it. The normal process in a deposition is the attorneys would have the opportunity to review the transcript and review the video to make sure that there are no errors. And this is going to be a long video because this is going to be a long deposition. Today will be a long deposition, I would assume, and tomorrow will be an even longer deposition.
So it's going to take like 2 days, if not 3 days.
Every member of the Oversight Committee is going to have questions for the Clintons, as well as our trained staff that do nothing but depositions. So after our hour of questioning, we're going to send a couple of members of the Oversight Committee out to be able to give you an update of what's going on and answer some questions. So with that, we'll answer a question or two, and then we'll go back in again.
I'll listen.
Are you concerned that there has been a cover-up of sexual abuse of a minor by President Trump? There are missing FBI records that appear to be.
No, we're looking into the accusation by the NPR. We don't know the answer to that. We know what the administration says. We're still looking to get a definitive answer on that. But look, let's just be realistic here. If you go by a lot of what the Democrats have said, you had Jasmine Crockett accused Lee Zeldin of taking donations from Jeffrey Epstein. It was the wrong Jeffrey Epstein. We've had Ro Khanna sit on the floor and name names of people that were...
Well, people need to understand the Epstein files is not evidence. The Epstein files are proof. What it is context. It's giving context of everything. That's what all the Epstein files is, giving context.
Thought were involved in Epstein that weren't even involved. So, sometimes the Democrats on the committee aren't the best investigators. Go ahead, Chad. Yes.
What about the idea, though, that I understand you say that this is different with some of the members or some of the people who were subpoenaed who didn't have the direct contact. But some folks have said it seems like the Clintons are basically on trial here versus people who know more about the what was going on with Maxwell, what was going on with Epstein, and that this is really kind of dragging them through the mud when there are other witnesses.
Well, let's address that, Chad. The Democrats voted to subpoena the Clintons. The Democrats voted with the Republicans to hold the Clintons in contempt. So the Democrats have just as many questions for the Clintons as the Republicans. So this isn't a partisan witch hunt. This was a motion, a bipartisan motion supported by the Democrats to bring the Clintons in. So I don't think it's any type of being unfair in any way to the Clintons. They've never answered questions, unlike President Trump, who gets questioned every day by just about every one of you about his knowledge or involvement with Epstein. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many questions about Epstein. So
yeah, I mean, that's what Papa Penguin just pointed out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the morning, man. I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for being here. Obviously, I cannot do this shit without you guys. Listen, we're going to be rating somebody new here. Actually, I don't remember this guy, but he's showing up that he's live right now. So make sure you guys go over there and let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. His name is Scott Freedom. So hopefully it's a cool homie. That'd be cool. Anyways, listen, much love, honor, respect to everybody. We'll see you guys here tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Until then, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon, and stay safe out there.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and earth, the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels, here's back to